Welcome, YouTube. We need to clarify black men's place and relationship with the red pill / manosphere, because these days some interesting developments are starting to happen with the red pill manosphere space, where essentially there's been a lot of a backlash against it in recent times. A lot of people have cycled through it at this point. It's gotten so much exposure that most people loosely know about it. Women have gotten a good look at the manosphere. The left wing and various mainstream media talking heads have mentioned the manosphere. People know about this stuff. The manosphere's been mainstream for a while now. It's something that is known to be a whole category of guys that, you know, it's like a whole lexicon of shit. Just like how you think of, like, what does it mean to be quote unquote black or something like this. Like the manosphere is its own little lexicon now that a lot of guys fit under. And so black men's role in the manosphere has come under much more scrutiny now due to the developments of, keep it real, Donald Trump getting elected and a lot of these white guys becoming emboldened to become just racist. And a lot of white guys are in the manosphere. And this has put the black man who was in the red pill / manosphere in a kind of awkward situation. So let me explain this. So because the black man is now in an awkward situation within the manosphere due to the amount of racism that's cropping up online these days, or specifically from manosphere spaces, need I add? A lot of people are questioning, well, why are black men even part of the red pill in the first place? Black men don't belong in the red pill. I've heard this sentiment thrown around a bunch of times. Black men don't belong in the red pill / manosphere. Here's the truth of the matter, guys. Here's the truth of this. The red pill was kind of low-key invented by black men. The red pill was made by black men. I would die on this hill. Black men actually made the original red pill. Like, you can see this in the fact that a lot of the earliest content creators and MGTOW and all this shit, like Barbarossa, like a lot of these guys were black dudes in the very, very beginning, like back in the days when it was just on forum posts, back when you only saw blog posts discussing these ideas. Like, quite a few of these guys were either black men or they were ideas that came originally from the black community. And the red pill specifically, the reason why I say black men came up with the earliest origins of it is because the red pill really stems from the war between the black man and the black woman, a war that's been going on for a very long time. You see, black women hate black men. This is a whole video topic in of itself that I need to do at some point, but all you need to know for this video is that the black man and the black woman has been at war for a very long time. And you can see this in many of the dynamics of the black community, especially back during the 80s and 90s, back when the black family was being ripped apart during that era especially. And the aftermath of these black families being ripped apart during that era is a large and very ignored population of black men that, you know, they had to come up with some kind of way to explain what had just happened to them, pretty much. And so the earliest manosphere type shit you could have seen very likely came from black men. It very likely came from black men, because this is the first demographic that got hit the hardest by feminism and the welfare state. And you guys know how ingrained welfareism is in the black community especially. This is where this came from. So black men got hit with a lot of the stuff that's true in the Western world as far as like the dynamics between men and women. Black men were the vanguard. Black men got hit with this stuff first. And so a not insignificant number of the earliest red pill talking heads, and especially in MGTOW, a not so insignificant number of them were black men. What happened was, as the red pill went more mainstream, and it started to gain traction because, like, again, the issue that black men first faced now started to affect the white community. And as more white guys came in, these white guys came in and they started to do what white people always do. This is a consistent theme in American history, by the way. White people will take something that black people invented, usually some kind of cultural thing. Like, everything cultural-wise in America almost gets started by black people, by the way. So the same thing happened here, where it started off in the black community. The white people started coming in. The white guys specifically started coming in. Then they snatched the red pill. They co-opted it. And now you see all these races in the red pill now. And now it's turned into like a whole thing where it's like, people are looking at black men weird now, because it's like, why are you associated in this thing where it's a bunch of racist ass white dudes now? That's what's happened, guys. That is what's happened. It's the same thing that's always happened. Black people invent something, white people come and co-opt it, and now it looks like, oh, this is always a white guy problem, bro. But really, the black man has been the canary in the coal mine, just like we have always been. Just like black people and as a whole have always been. Black people has always been the canary in the coal mine. That's the role black people play. In America, by the way, black Americans specifically. I'm not talking about nobody that came here, immigrated here. I'm talking about black Americans. So that is what has happened. That is the rough timeline of what has happened. Now, today the red pill is associated typically with an angry white guy, usually older. He's usually a racist, and there is a very heavy crossover between the manosphere red pill / alt-right. There is a very heavy crossover. I saw this shit even early on, but it's so corrupted by the alt-right now to the point where it's almost indistinguishable. If you spend any amount of time in a manosphere or a manosphere adjacent YouTube channel or anything like this, anything that's manosphere adjacent, you're going to inevitably run into alt-right, just outright racist white nationalist types. And when I say white nationalists, they don't even necessarily got to be white, because there's a lot of brown people that are trying to suck up to this shit and trying to be white allies, or trying to be the pick-me brown person amongst the group. There's a ton of those people within the alt-right. So it's not even necessarily white people, but there was definitely a lot of white guys that came in that went down this pipeline. Now they're alt-right. Now they're snow nationalists. Now they're on, oh, I hate me some black folks. And the red pill has been co-opted from what it originally was about into just some hateful, racist, and honestly misogynistic too. I'm not entirely against misogyny myself. I don't think misogyny is such a bad thing. I think women do need to be held accountable. I think women do need to have certain rights taken away. Again, another topic for another video, but I don't entirely disagree with the misogyny part that the manosphere radiates, but I'm saying these guys take it to a level that I wouldn't take it to as far as like misogyny goes. Like, I don't hate women. I definitely don't hate women. I definitely understand them. But these guys actually hate women a lot of the time. This is like the common pitfalls, because the manosphere red pill has been co-opted by hatred. Okay, in the beginning, it wasn't about hatred. I can definitely clearly remember the beginnings of the red pill and about the manosphere. It wasn't really this hateful, spiteful energy back then. No, it was much more just a bunch of guys genuinely trying to decode what the fuck had happened to them, because it was mostly guys where they had been going through the divorce court, they had been cleaned out, they had been done dirty by some woman, and it just was a genuine effort to try to figure out what the hell happened. But these days, like, because of who has co-opted it, a bunch of angry white guys, okay, because of who has co-opted it, it's about hate now. It's about hate. Specifically, they hate black people, which ironically, black dudes played a very pivotal part in even coming up with the manosphere in the first place. They hate black people. They hate immigrants. They hate everybody that ain't white. They hate everybody that ain't Christian, which they're not even Christian themselves, but okay, let's go with that. They hate women definitely because they can't get them. And this is like the rot of the manosphere slash red pill. And you can also extend this to the BP community too. Like the BP originally, again, the godfather of the BP is more certainly a black dude named Faisal LMS. He was the one that really blew it up. He's the godfather of the BP. He was a black dude, a black British dude. You know, and like the BP is almost completely unrecognizable now. It didn't start off on no hateful shit. It started off on, oh, I can't get no bitches. And I think looks is the reason why, you know, it was that type of thing. But now the BP is full of a bunch of white nationalists, hateful, spiteful. They definitely hate women. Just go on any Inkwell BP forum these days. It gets almost indistinguishable from a white nationalist like KKK forum, you know. They're pretty much interchangeable now. And this is what happens when, you know, white people co-opt something. They turn it into some hateful, corrupted, just illogical thing that is just divorced from what it originally was. And I'm really starting to see how this kind of goes along now. Every time something new gets invented, as soon as a bunch of white guys get into it, it gets turned into that kind of shit then. And that's what's happened to the manosphere. That's why, like, I don't even really associate with any of these communities anymore. It's much to my dismay. The way it used to be, it's not going to come back. Back when we had genuine discussions about this shit, about trying to solve it, about trying to understand what's going on. Like, we don't have conversations like that. No, it's nonstop KKK rally in these spaces now, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate how the BP and the red pill and the manosphere as a whole kind of got co-opted and swept up by hate. And again, I'm not going to blame Donald Trump for it, but Donald Trump definitely had a role to play in how this came about, you know. He definitely had a role to play in it. But it was kind of happening before him anyways, a little bit. So, I mean, and also groups like these, they do tend to focus on people who are victimized or weak or vulnerable. Like they go after these kinds of people that are going through some kind of a loss. And that's like the easiest demographic for these types of people to target anyway. So, you know, young men definitely fit that demographic of being vulnerable, especially young white men. You know, a lot of young black dudes got swept up into this too, you know. Like, we all go through the same shit, and then you have to get through all this shit before you start figuring out that, oh, you know what, this community, this space ain't for me. It's just a bunch of racist dudes, or they become radicalized here off of one problem, and then now they decided that I'm the problem. Somehow, even though we ain't going through the same shit, you know. That's what the manosphere's become, for better or worse. And that's kind of like, you know, put the black man in an awkward position to where now it's like, I'll tell you myself, I don't want to go back to trying to reconcile with the community. I'll never do that. But at the same time, like, I've kind of had to reconcile with the fact that the manosphere is no longer for me if you're black. Okay, that's just the honest to God truth. And a lot of people are pointing this out that aren't part of the manosphere or don't agree with the manosphere or any kind of red pill shit. You know, a lot of people are pointing this out. They're right too. Unfortunately, they're right. But I think if you're a black man now and you kind of are in that position, you're gonna have to come up with some kind of new community or whatever, and hope that it doesn't get co-opted again. You know, I mean the black manosphere is a thing, but that's just kind of devolved into passport bros, which I think is a kind of a problematic thing on its own, you know. So, I mean, it remains to be seen, but, you know, that's why I came up with my monastic ideal too, you know, because I no longer have a place in the manosphere. I mean, I kind of was coming up with that before I really left the manosphere like that, but, you know. Definitely these days, as of 2025, that's given me way more motivation to pivot into the monastic thing. So, yeah, black men are really kind of in an awkward position now due to how the RP and manosphere got co-opted like that, you know, and just turned into this hateful mixture with the alt-right pretty much. And with that being said, you know, it remains to be seen how this is all going to shake out. But anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and end this video here and stop rambling. This has been Emperor Dion the Lion explaining to you kind of the awkward relationship between the black man and the manosphere. And if you're a black guy, if you are a black guy still watching red pill shit, I highly implore you to reevaluate the things you're believing, because most of these things have been twisted into white nationalist talking points now. You know, I disagree with a lot of what I hear in the manosphere these days. Like, I still check it out every once in a while, but you know, I don't agree with most of what they're saying now. Most of it's been co-opted into white nationalist fucking talking points. The only thing I agree with them about is when it comes to women. And like, so if you're a black guy, I heavily implore you to reevaluate the things you're believing, and do these things actually kind of just support white nationalist talking points at the end of the day? It doesn't do you any good, you know? I do heavily implore you to do that if you're a black guy, especially. Or if you're a brown person at all. If you're a brown person at all, or an Asian, like a yellow person, like I heavily implore you guys to do the same. You know, you're not black, but you're definitely not white. And you will be promptly let know on that fact if you keep fucking around with this beast that the manosphere now is. So anyways, let me cut it short here and start rambling. This has been Emperor Dion the Lion. Please like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Later.